Station gang, welcome to SUPREME Clientele, episode 30 here. Sorry about missing y'all last week. Your boy had the flu, but we're back at it now. February 27th, 2024. Hope everybody is doing well out there in TV land. How you doing, Link, my bro? How's your week been, bro?
It's been good. It's been good. Super uneventful stuff so far, but the past week it was good. Still uneventful, but yeah, it's been good. Can't complain.
Yeah,
Finally, I unpacked all of my comics that were in the boxes, but now I have to get to reorganizing them, and it's
oh,
fun,
man.
but it's painful at the same time.
Yeah, I feel you there.
But
Trust me.
yeah, other than that, can't complain.
Yeah, I'm fast approaching hoarder status, so I have no good advice or anything to tell you there. But I love the posts on Instagram though, bro. You've been killing it. It's good to see you posting more books here lately, man. Yeah, I love
Trying to
seeing the
get back
collection,
into the
man.
swing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Shout out real quick to Sal. Thank you, Sal. Feeling much better. So happy to be with y'all. E, what up, bro? Thank you for coming through tonight. Yeah, but I just thought, we've been doing the Marvel Knights thing, and we wanted to cover the Tim Sale and Jeph Loeb books, and I just thought, given the fact that we lost Tim recently, we should just go ahead and give flowers to one of my personal favorite artists. Love his style. I think when it comes to women and drawing women, there's few people who do it as well and draw more beautiful women than Tim Sale, which we'll get to. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like do a comprehensive kind of look back at his entire career from the beginnings and meeting Loeb and on into it. So yeah, I guess nothing more to say but to get into it. Thank y'all for joining us. Oh, hold on, let me do this little throwback. Manny finally got me these videos through. Shout out, Manny. So this is our Throwback Tuesday bit for the day.
Throwback Tuesday. Oh, dang. Way back in the day.
Yo, isn't that Malibu's Most Wanted right there? I feel like it is.
I think so. I like that.
Yeah, I
like
love it.
that.
Yeah, I asked him to put like these funny little vocal bits on it as he saw fit, and he definitely came through for me. So shout out to Manny, everybody's executive producer. We love you, bro. All right, yeah, just some basic bio stuff. Sale, he was born in New York but grew up on the West Coast, Seattle. Big Seattle guy, kind of a bleeding heart liberal. But I guess when we're gonna focus on his art here. His artistic career started in his early 20s. He attends the New York School of Visual Arts. He said he mainly went there for John Buscema's workshop. That's mainly what he hung around for. He had guys like John Romita teaching inking. Marie Severin, the DC legend, was teaching cover layouts. Archie Goodwin, I think that's where he met Archie Goodwin, a lifelong friend of his. So just some huge names, and that's kind of like his first contact with the industry, and I guess some lifelong mentors there, especially in the case of Archie Goodwin.
Absolutely.
Loeb got his start. He was a screenwriter. I did not know all this until I did the research for the episode. Yeah, wrote Teen Wolf, directed Commando. Yeah, so he had a writing partner, Matthew Wiseman, that he did a lot of these films with. But yeah, Loeb eventually did the Hero Show in the early 2000s and brought Sale on to do. Sale did a lot of the artwork in the show for that. Like, there's comic book artwork in the show. Sale's actually got like a patented Heroes font that he created that you can buy and use. Yeah, so I thought all that was super dope. That he eventually brought Sale into into the Hollywood onto one of his Hollywood projects. But yeah, so we'll get to it. We'll get to their first collaboration here in a minute. But Sale, and I have some excerpts I'm going to read from some quotes from Sale from this great The Comics Journal interview. You just Google the Comics Journal interview with Tim Sale, it should pop up. There's a fantastic at-length interview on there. Yes, Loeb is responsible. Hold on, this is a fact. I read this Loeb is responsible for urban surfing. Apparently, this is something he did in college with his homies throughout the movie. Yeah, he said in the interview that he was a little bit more inebriated and it was a lot less cooler than it appears in the film. But yeah, We have Jeph Loeb to thank for that, E. So yeah, the Comics Journal interview is great to check out for in print. There's a great one on YouTube, which is biographical. They break down his entire career, start to finish. Comic book historians. Go ahead and search either one of those if you guys want some more background, more info on the legend. But they're both extensive, very thorough interviews. I highly recommend both. I used them a lot for what we put together. All right, so his first work in comics ever, right here, Myth Adventures, like a illustrated fantasy mag from the early 80s. He said, my first work ever in comics was as an inker, and I knew that I wanted to do that because I thought that I couldn't tell a story. It was a way of working in comics and drawing and having fun. So he's inking Phil Foglio on a Warp Graphics comic called Myth Adventures. I did about a dozen issues of that. He said it became more of a chore over and more boring as time went on, but you know, his relationship with his mentor was never that close, but you know, it helped him get foot in the door, helped him get some contacts.
Yeah.
And this is the first we saw of Tim Sale.
Some good stuff though.
Now this is I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because the timelines on all this are the mid 90s stuff kind of like overlap in some cases, but he was early friends with Matt Wagner. Matt was one of the first friends he made in the industry, and he's got I'm not a big Grindle guy. Are you a Grindle guy, bro?
I'm familiar with them. I've read like maybe 3 issues in my lifetime. Just random issues I had out the dollar bin. But I've always been aware of him, like mostly through Wizard magazine. You know, I'd always see people talking about him. Very familiar with Matt Wagner as a creator, but I've always wanted to get into Grindle. It just never gotten around to it.
Yeah. Same. And like also seeing like all the people who've taken guest turns on it, it definitely piques my curiosity that much more. But yeah, Sale's got runs that he did in the 90s and I think in the early 2000s. So
John Paul Leon on that, bro?
Yeah,
That's okay.
I think that's the one from 04. I think that's the one from 04, but I could be wrong. But yeah, did some covers and did some Grindle for Matt Wagner. Yeah, so that was cool. But let me get to this is the first work with him and Loeb, 1991, Challenges of the Unknown. This is the first book they worked on. And that's the first time we see Tim Sale's Superman, which is very much in the vein of this Superman we'd see in Confidential and For All Seasons. That very Norman Rockwell, just Kurt Swanish, simple and plain. I love that. Anyway, Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen and the Killing Joke, Daredevil, Born Again, all that stuff was setting the world on fire in the mid to late 80s. And he said that hugely influenced the work that Jeph and I first did and the approach that we took to Challengers when we started on it. That's why it was kind of as crazy as it was and conceptual as it was. And it's not, you know, the way that Jeph and him would work from then on out. But this one, you could tell they were trying to get very like, but he had so many great things to say about Kirby. You know, he said he doesn't. Jeph Loeb is one of those guys. He walks into the room, you can always tell like how he's feeling without. He's an extrovert. He's like, you know, one of those guys that kind of commands the room. He says he's seen him get tongue tied around very few people, and Jack Kirby was one of those ones that he did. But he said Kirby was so gracious to them. He said that he made a point, looked them both in the eye, and said and made a point to make sure that they do their own thing. They don't feel pressured to do. I guess because, you know, at the time people, you know, or he was aware that artists had been told that, you know, his style was house style to draw more like that or something, you know. Anyway, he was very expressive and insistent that they find their own creative path and you know, nuance for the book. So I thought that was cool. Another great story about the game. But yeah, I have not read this. I'm not very familiar with the Challenges of the Unknown. But this looks interesting. You can definitely see like glimpses of early Sale there, especially with that woman on the left. I feel like.
Yeah. The eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll definitely check that out. That's Sale and Loeb.
Yeah, I think it's collected. It's collected, and it might be. Yeah, I think it's collected all in one volume, or at least I thought I saw one of those editions out there. But it's 8 issues if you're going after the singles. But yeah, 91. So in between that, he would take a break, I think, or either before that or right after that, he did Billy 99. Now he did this with Sarah Byam, who he described as another bleeding heart liberal from Seattle. This one was kind of influenced by both like Zorro and V for Vendetta. Had a lot of progressive political things to say, and this guy was kind of like in the spirit of Zorro, a swordsman who marked his name and dispensed justice around town. In this city that was kind of like rife with corruption and control type of deal. So very much like I think incorporating elements of Zorro. You can definitely see the Zorro and the V for Vendetta elements there.
Oh yeah.
But he said he got paid like $110 to do it all. It wasn't in color. By the way, Tim Sale, another great artist who's colorblind, along with John Byrne and Alex Toth. Yeah, he's colorblind. Which is just further makes him a badass to me. But $110 a page. It was like he said it was like 4 48-page issues, so he had his work cut out for him. But he said he really needed money at the time. So, but he said he's still proud of it. He's very proud of the reprint. He did new covers when they collected it and put it back out. So. It's something he stands by. It's dope to see. I haven't seen too much else from Sarah Byam, or I don't know her name. It's BYAM, but I'd be interested to check this one out just on the strength of Sale alone. But
yeah, oh yeah.
Pedro, what up, brother? Thanks for coming through, man. We got Brother Joe in the house. Brother Joe, what up, bro? Who else we got? Now, Inja, what up? You're not late. We're always late. You're good. How are you, man? Good to see you. Thank you always for coming through. So that's why my arm career never took off. DD. Yeah, but I mean, I love it. And you can see his style continuing to form and getting tighter here.
Badass, yeah.
Yeah, dude. All black and white. All right, so back to DC. He goes back to DC, and this is like the precursor now to Long Halloween. He gets these 3 Halloween specials. The first one he doesn't even do with Loeb. And he said Loeb got a little bit jealous. Have you ever read any of these, bro? By the way, I've never read any of these.
I've been meaning to get around to it, but I've only read like the Long Halloween. I didn't even read. I know they did like a one shot, like 2001 or something like that. I didn't get a chance to read that, but I've always loved the Long Halloween. That's one of my favorite Batman stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Based off the strength of mostly Sale's artwork,
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah. No, the story was definitely the weaker part of that, but like, I completely agree. But this one is like the first time we see him starting to really put his own stamp on the characters. I've always loved his Scarecrow. I just think it's just a great look for the character. Both here and in Long Halloween. That scene in Long Halloween where it's like that fake escape on horseback is just like one of the best scenes in comics to me. I feel like I just love that scene so much. But anyway, he wrote the first one with James Robinson, and then I think he said Loeb got a little bit jealous and possessive, and that he got to Batman and did it with somebody else before he did, and so Sale asked DC editorial, "Hey, do you mind if we come back and do another Batman story? But I have Jeph write it this time," and they agreed to that, and they got 2 more. I think they did. I think I have slides from it in here. We got the Scarecrow story first time around, and then I think there's a Penguin one and a Mad Hatter one.
What's interesting is I've never seen this before, but his Batman looks so different than how he usually draws Batman. But Scarecrow looks pretty much, it's very similar to what we would kind of always see, or later on in like the Long Halloween.
Yeah,
and his Batman is crazy different. That's
cool. He's much more like bulkier and more. I feel like a whole lot more like physically imposing in Long Halloween than he is here.
Yes.
Brother Vern in the house. Vern, what up, brother? Station, bro. Thank you for coming through. So the I think it was 90. I want to say it was like 93, 94, 95 or something like that. Those 3 years in succession. But this is the Mad Hatter one. And then the Penguin one will be the last one. But I love his unique take on each of these members of the Rogues Gallery, you know. And like you can say, like that's what I love about this early work. You can see it just is his style getting more defined and just getting better and better. Yeah, and here's the final one with the Penguin. That looks pretty gnarly.
I like that.
Some of these great scenes, like you saw, this reminds me of the Catwoman and Batman fights in the Long Halloween.
It reminds, or well, not verbatim, but the Joker when he's on the like definitely Catwoman shit, but that the first panel you showed with him and the Penguin reminded me of like when he's like chasing the Joker across the which one was it? Next one, I think it was that one.
Yeah,
I think he's like, I think Joker was on like a mini.
And the plane, the plane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I love the way he draws Ivy, bro.
Yeah, I love I love just like the leaves, and it's got elements of Frank Miller to me, you know, and like
yes.
He's got like a Batwoman cover, and she's got like earrings that kind of remind me of like Ivy's foliage here. It's kind of like the same. Yeah, here's some Joker, just great stuff, man. Dude draws some great pumpkins.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, poor Alfred. Getting roasted. Yeah, all right. And then this one was a quick work for Marvel. I never read this book. Did you ever read this book, Wolverine and Gambit Victims?
I
thought I was hoping maybe you. Okay.
I haven't read it in a minute, but it was like a cover of like I think like Wolverine's like looking down and like Gambit's like behind him, but it's like a black cover. But I didn't. I think was it like 3 issues or something like that?
4. I think like 3 or 4. Yeah.
I only had 1 issue, and it's unfortunately one of the few comics I've lost. But I wish I still had it, just based on the significance, you know, of it being.
And
like
I think
their
it's like
only Marvel.
Yeah, and I think it's them to teaming up like to solve some murder in Paris or something in France or something like that. Like I think one of them initially gets blamed for it, and like then they do what?
Was it Madripoor or
you might be right.
I can't remember.
No, you're right. You're right. I just might be thinking of the French Connection because of Gambit. All right, you said something here. I'm so embarrassed that I hated that Wolvie and Gambit story as a kid. If it wasn't Jim Lee, I had no time for it. Basically, I sucked. No, not at all, man. I think we all got spoiled with Jim. I don't know. And I can see myself, like, maybe as a kid not loving all of the elements of Tim's style, like, as I would as a more well-read adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here's the little Frank Miller footnote. Apparently, he did Deathblow for Jim Lee, and he was always under deadline pressure because Brandon Choi could never make deadlines as a writer. So I think he said his record was 11 pages in one day. He found out that he could do while he was on Deathblow. Yeah, dude. But they had elements in there that were very reminiscent of Sin City, and Frank Miller took issue to that and put him on blast in print. Apparently, and like apparently it was like a thing. Like Tim Sale said in this Comics Journal interview that he still has people who come up and give him shit about that. That he was basically, yeah. But I wish I could have. I saw the slide too late. I wish I could have tagged it on here. Let me see if I could pull it up on the phone and translate for me better because I was just looking at it before we started. All right, so here's the one, and you can kind of see. Hold on, let me make that. Sorry, everybody, give me a second. You can kind of see it's kind of like at she's on a stripper pole or whatever, so it's like that black and white, you know what I mean? Marv going, and like the narration around it is, I come to the drop zone to try and forget about everything, but looking up at the stage, I can only see what I'm going to be missing. So it's like I mean, I would say
it's reminiscent.
the writing there is just as like sketchy with the Frank Miller borrowing as the or the plagiarism as the art is. You know what I mean? But
Why can't it be a homage? You know, like why is it?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You know,
Let me get back to business here. Yeah. So an unfortunate, you know, yeah, like you said, that's straight up Nancy from Sin City, but I ain't mad at him. Again, like he said, that was the kind of the aesthetic and the way that Jim Lee wanted to tell that story early on, and he was just kind of following directions. You know what I mean? So I feel like, but he said, I heard that because I did hear later that Frank had a problem with what I was doing. I heard that because he wrote about that in print on a letters page in an issue of Sin City. I was upset about that for a number of reasons. If he had a problem, all he had to do was say something either to Jim or me, and we would have worked differently. And he's Frank Miller. He's the biggest guy in comics. He was then, and he is now. To this day, I still get shit from people. Not a whole lot anymore, but I get shit from people about that. I just think that was very poor form on Frank's part and unfortunate, which I can completely agree with. But anyway, I thought that was an interesting footnote to his time on Deathblow. All right, let's get into it, man. So after the success of the 3 Halloween specials, DC's like, yo, let's give you guys a Batman book, your own Batman book, and kind of your own Elseworlds thing. They were partly inspired by this Neil Adams Halloween kind of murder mystery set in Rutland, Vermont. You know, this was part of their info. I gotta get me some Neil Adams in my library, man. I am so lacking on the legend. Every time I look him up, such clean pencils.
Yeah,
and I just love his panel choices. So dynamic. Yeah, so you know, they formed the idea of kind of like the the murder mystery. But they're gonna extend it. I think they had different advice from different people. Mark Waid chimed in, gave them different ideas about have it be, an extended Halloween. But they wanted to keep the killer secret like through the whole time. So, they had to find a way to kind of obscure who it was over the course of 13 issues, which I don't think, I think they did okay, fairly well, up to a certain point. But I don't know.
Read
what do you think?
Yeah, I remember being no. First read through, I remember, being I wasn't shocked, but I was like, but other read throughs, it's not as surprising, kind of obvious,
Yeah, not so much that it didn't. There was still an element of surprise to me when I found out, but it just didn't hit like a 13 issue delivery, like a 13 issue wait. I felt like should have, but regardless, I think this, like, besides this and Hulk Gray, I feel like this is the best like collaboration between Loeb and Sale, as far as like Loeb just giving him like nice home run pitches, man. There's so many like great wide open splashes and setups throughout this book, and the covers are legendary. But yeah, I thought this was when they really started to get in sync, and Loeb really started to learn what worked for Tim and what didn't. Overall thoughts on this, bro? I know you said it's one of your favorite Halloween stories. Anybody, any villains or issues or high moments?
Nah, just every shot, bro. Like, I really love, like I said, I love how Cell does Poison Ivy. Just like, yeah, bro. I mean, the artwork speaks for itself.
Yeah, the
bro.
Catwoman
justice.
Catwoman, like the Catwoman fights are so legendary. Early on, I particularly love I love the Solomon Grundy part, because this is Thanksgiving, right? And he thinks Grundy. He goes and interrogates Grundy. They get into this fight or whatever. He figures out it's Grundy, and then like I love at the end he goes back and he leaves him a Thanksgiving plate, and like that's how the issue ends.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was like you see, there he like leaves it, and then Grundy's hand comes and takes it away. But yeah, that was one of my favorite moments of the thing. Here's what you're talking about, dude. The Joker plane fight was so fucking epic. So epic.
I love the wide smile he fucking gives him, bro. Like,
yeah,
very angular and
it's so great, right?
otherworldly. Yes.
Yeah,
It's like I'm telling you, like almost every panel or page is a worth worthy of
it
being a
was. That was
painting.
like honestly,
So
that was the most. That was the most exhaustive thing in putting together a retrospective of Tim Sale's like career. Is like I wanted to include every single page of every single one. It was. I found myself having to like really try to like, dude, you're gonna be at this for 3 weeks trying to.
Oh yeah.
But it's just, dude, it's so tough to pick which ones to include and which not. But yeah.
Who did still do his own coloring for Long Halloween?
So I think this one was Gregory Wright.
Okay.
One of his favorite ones, one of his favorite colors all time was Dave Stewart. He had very he spoke very highly of him in the interview, and but I think he kind of found him later in his career. But yeah, I have it somewhere right around me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Gregory Wright though. But yeah, eventually, you know, not spoilers. There's that scarecrow scene. Love it. But yeah, that's all. I could do the whole entire Long Halloween, but I just kind of called it quits there because I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep going. But yeah,
It's like,
go ahead.
I will say, when I think of like how Gotham should look, it's kind of like an amalgamation of like his interpretation of Gotham, animated series, and Tim Burton's films to some degree. That that's how I like a mixture of those. I feel like he kind of nails like that the aspect of the Norrish vibes of the animated
Yeah,
series, but
that
it's
retro,
very Norrish.
that retro
Yes,
grittiness. Yeah, absolutely.
but
And
it's
it's
the craziness of like a Burton film. Not too gothic or crazy, but it's there's nothing like it. Like Gotham's supposed to be like a city. There's nothing like Gotham anywhere. So I think he always nailed that when it came to like Batman stories.
absolutely. And I feel like every time we get a Batman film, this is one of the books that's referenced as an inspiration for no matter what direction is, or I feel like this is such a stylized book for Batman, and it's such a hardcore take, like, well, not hardcore, I guess that's kind of wrong for it, but it's just so stylized in its own thing. I don't know, such a aesthetic statement. I feel like it can't help but make an impression on people. So hell yeah. All right. Let's hit up these let's go ahead and you want to go ahead and hit up the Marvel color books real quick, and then we can try to get this. Yeah. So I'll just start off with Spidey Blue. This was kind of like Peter's kind of reminiscing on Gwen in the early days when he kind of had both of the ladies fighting over him. I think this is one of the prime examples of Tim Sale drawing beautiful women, but we'll get to that. Again, we get a great rogues gallery of Spidey's villains here. We get Green Goblin, we get Lizard, we get two different Vultures, we get Rhino, we get I think we get Shocker or Scorpion at one point. We get like I just love that. I love that we're in that Green Goblin face, man. So great. Like you said, that angular wide, like that wide villainy face, like he does so well.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I just love how he's gonna like he's gonna like if Tim Sale gets a hold of a character, he's gonna try out some of the villains. Now that wouldn't be true for like Cap was just kind of like a one note thing, and I think that's the weakest color book, but
yes, by far.
Yeah, we really just got Red Skull.
You know what? I was gonna ask you what was your favorite. If you would rank the color books, how would you rank them?
Good
in
question.
My head, I didn't even think Captain America. Like I only thought of Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Hulk. Like, but yes,
dude,
Captain America.
And Captain America was very damaging for their creative relationship. That was Loeb kept forcing that book in a direction Sale really wasn't excited about, and also that was like they had done. I don't know all of this like down like to an exact science, but my understanding is they did the three of those the Spidey Blue, Daredevil Yellow, and Hulk Gray were kind of together, and Cap was kind of after the fact, right?
Succession.
And
Cap came out like 2008, like 4 years after Hulk Gray. But I think it was only the one issue that ever had came out.
Right, number 0, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and so, but yeah, it sounded like the way Sale spoke about it. It sounded like it definitely affected their relationship, and it left them estranged for a period of time, where they weren't like really on speaking terms. So
I think I saw that they finished in like 2016, 15 or somewhere around there. That's like a 7 year gap. So yeah, that's for them to work for so long back to back and then take that long off. Yeah. I'm wondering, so do you know what did Loeb end up changing the route he wanted to take the book? Is that why Sale came back and finished it? Or did he just Sale kind of just like let him
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I know because I know Loeb or Sale was fighting the direction that Loeb was trying to take it and the story he was trying to tell, I think, from very early on. So I think it was probably just a case of like, let's go ahead and finish this up, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it didn't sound, I don't know. And it's his, I feel like you can tell in the art too. Like you can tell Hulk Gray was a story he was excited to draw. You know,
you can feel the passion.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but yeah, I think that definitely comes across. And in Captain America, there's great scenes in there, and I love his Red Skull. Like we'll get there. His Red Skull looks great, but like it just doesn't. That story doesn't work for me, and the art just feels, some of those pages, they don't feel as sharp as the
uninspired, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is how we're starting off Spidey Blue right here. This is a pretty poetic first couple pages here, especially with the coloring. But yeah, early on, this first issue, he's taking on Green Goblin. You know, he has the choice to reveal his identity to the police and the firefighters as they come in the door. He tells them, this guy, he takes his mask off and says, this guy needs assistance, and leaves him be. Green Goblin doesn't really become, well, of course he becomes a threat later on down the line, but we don't really see him again in this. We see him, the only time I think we see him from on this book is as Norman. But yeah, here we first meet Gwen. Look at Peter on the motorcycle, bro. This is like little kind of Swedish,
like a boss,
super suave. Yeah, Casanova and Parker here. Not skittish, unconfident Peter, but yeah. I just love this layout, man. I love, like you said, his cities. Like I love that profile there on the right, to the right of the newsstand, and just the skyscrapers. And I always love how he does buildings, man. Just does such a great vibe. Oh, Angela, thank you for saying that. We try. We know a little something. We try to share it.
Yeah, we try. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, exactly. We can pretend for like 60 to 90 minutes once a week, right?
Right. A lot of times I'm just bullshitting, and I'll give you guys a secret to being master bullshitters. Just believe what you're saying for a brief second, and other people will believe it as well.
There you go, folks. I have wisdom from the day right there from the master himself. Yeah. There's our Rhino appearance. I like that he kind of incorporated Curt Connors in the story here. He's fighting Rhino. He's trying to realize what this guy's made of or whatever. He takes his polymers back to the lab, where Curt Connors, and breaks it down. But eventually, of course, it's heavily alluded to when he's first talking to Connors as a doctor. We all know he's going to become a wizard, and it's only a matter of time. So, but I thought that was a cool way of working him into the story. Here we meet Mary Jane for the first time. I love that shot, like her face split with his just bewilderment. So gorgeous, man. I mean, that's how you draw a woman to me right there. That's just an honest depiction of a woman. It's not like overtly like she looks fantastic. It's not overtly sexual to me. It's not overtly sexualized. Yeah. I mean, Mary Jane's always been gorgeous.
Proportionate.
But I just feel like I just love the 50s kind of feel and look to his females and his people really in general. But yeah.
Do you know who the colorist was for his Marvel color books? Was that when Dave Stewart and him started
That might
collaborating?
have been Dave Stewart. Hold on. Yeah, that might have been Dave Stewart. Hold on a second.
I actually really do love that cover right here in front of us. What issue is that? Oh, issue 3. It says right there. It's very
Steve Buccellato or Buccellato. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Steve Buccellato did the cover for this bad boy. So yeah, shout out to him. He did a great job, I thought.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this is when the two girls kind of first face off for the first time at the diner. Mary Jane and then Gwen comes in. Great scene with Flash Thompson. Yeah, there's the lizard. We get our first shot of the lizard. He looks great as well. Again, so Pete's already done the motorcycle with Gwen. Now he's got Mary Jane on it. He's a two-time son of a bitch. Yeah, chasing fighting the lizard down the subway. But yeah, so this I mean, the overall arc and point of the story is it's him reminiscing about first meeting Gwen, first meeting Mary Jane, the way those two kind of relationships kind of grew and competed with one another, but also he's fighting some of the classic villains of the time. I thought the one who got the most shine, surprisingly, was Vulture. We kind of got two Vultures.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, we got this very Kirby Romita-esque, Romita Jr. really esque.
It's almost got the
I forget his name. Yeah, but this was cool. I love Peter's going through hard times in real life, and Spider-Man's going through hard times, and we got Flash Thompson or somebody laughing at him at the top, and then the villain laughing at the bottom. But yeah, it's big on the theme of Spidey's got max stress going on in his life. The supervillains are all over the place, and his lady problems are getting easier. But yeah, there's the two Vultures he's fighting. Just those great splash pages, man. In the air, anything in the air, man. You put an air battle, give this man an air battle to draw, he's gonna fucking flat out kill it. I love that amazing fantasy shot.
Fucking beautiful. Yeah.
Yep. So they had all this falling concrete after the Vulture fight. Flash is just walking on the sidewalk, all this stuff starts to rain down all around him, and then we get the great, amazing fantasy homage, Saving the Flash.
That would be a great movie moment, bro. Why is that not happening in the movie?
I know, right? That's so fucking such a great point, dude. Seriously though. Yeah, have we got an amazing fantasy homage in any Spider-Man movie? Straight up, where you were that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Because we've got weren't there references to the Romita cover when he threw his mask in the trash can and shit in one of the movies?
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. If you're gonna homage any cover, you gotta throw up amazing fantasy at some point. Yeah. So towards the end here, he's his girl problems are getting any easier, and we realize one of the guys that's who I forgot, who's been pulling strings kind of behind the scenes and sending all these different guys that Spidey has been craving. He wants to study. So there's this great scene, I don't think I included it, but he's looking at all the different animals that are the foes of the lizard and the vulture and the rhino. I've been studying all the creatures, you know what I mean? And I've been throwing all of them at them, learning all the weaknesses. Yeah, it was a cool little thing. But this is the end of it. He's just kind of reminiscing about you fighting Craven, and then it's Valentine's Day, which is how the narration started the book. He called Gwen his funny Valentine, and she gives her a Valentine or that. And then he's we find out that the very last couple pages of the last issue, he's been recording all this on an audio tape, kind of and narrating the past in his life. Yeah, and she was the one who taught him how to love, what was possible from love or whatever. And Mary Jane comes in, and we find out oh, he's in the house with Mary Jane. They're married together, but he's narrating the past and losing Gwen, and all that stuff. With, of course, her death at the hands of both Spider-Man and Green Goblin. If you're familiar with the canon, yeah, Spidey Blue though, solid. All right, so let's rank them real quick, bro. Before we get any further, what do you? Go ahead and rank yours, top to bottom.
Just the color series. I'm of agreement with you when it comes to Hulk Gray. Daredevil Yellow, that's up there for me. I do enjoy the Daredevil Yellow, and then Spidey Blue and Cap. Yeah, I mean they're all those first three are really solid, but like I enjoy the Hulk, but I can't say I have ever like really collected much of his runs throughout the years. Like Immortal Hulk is probably the lengthiest Hulk run I have. But Hulk Gray is like one of my favorite Hulk stories. Like I feel like it's not even an origin story, but it's a good definitive tale of
it is
like Bruce Banner and all his mythos and stuff. So I really enjoy that one.
Yeah, I
and
think
like you said, like
no, go ahead.
No, you can just feel the passion in the Hulk Gray artwork of bro so much. So
yeah.
What about you?
I think I'm right there. I'm not to be bland, but I'm right there with you. I think that's my 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Hulk, Daredevil, Spidey. I guess Spidey and Daredevil could switch spots, and I wouldn't be. But I love what he did with that Daredevil outfit and how he made that look. I thought that was like the best looking yellow. That was the best looking yellow and red Daredevil look to me. What up? We got. Verno said tearjerker shit about that last Spidey, the end of the Spidey shit. Somebody else has a problem with his movie choices. Inja, you're not alone. You're not alone, girl. He's wilding, ain't he? I don't know about Thanksgiving. I didn't get a chance to get to it yet today, unfortunately, but it was
white meat, dark
some
meat.
Of them been hate, bro. Hate for me, girl. So that's all right. We still love you, Vern. Widening my horizons as always. Yeah,
that's true.
One unforgettable horror movie at a time. All right, man. Let's do Hulk. Let's do the big banger then, real quick. I got a little bit of interview clip I wanted to share.
Just the character. Jeph and I used to talk about Doctor Strange. I really like drawing the tin can Iron Man, the really, really early stuff. The one that we used in Hulk Gray. That Hulk is called Robot. That's pretty much, what Jeph did in that story. I had no idea what we could do. That's a full-on origin story, and I had no idea what kind of story Jeph would come up with. It's probably my favorite of the color books. It's so simple. The Hulk is just so much fun to draw, so much pathos. Jeph writes that kind of stuff really well. It's very sentimental, it's very sweet. And also just big, lots of smashing and stuff like that. I love drawing the deserts, so that was a lot of fun, having it all set there. But I never foresaw that happening.
I love, like, he's talking about smashing stuff, but some of my favorite moments in that book are like the emotional scenes between him and Betty. And like, especially when he has her and she's hurt and he's trying to care for her, like that's some of my favorite parts of the book. But how about you?
No, yeah, I gotta agree. I love like the scene where him and Betty are in the cave and it's like raining and shit. And like,
it's got that perfect King Kong, Fay Ray type vibe to it. It's so great, man. And like the rabbit, the rabbit, like the of Mice and Men moment where he accidentally kills the rabbit. Yeah. Hell yeah, Chris, what up, bro? Thanks for coming through, man.
Yo.
We got the homie Chris, Lost in Comics. Gonna be on the show here in a couple weeks. Can't wait to have the homie on. Thanks for coming through, brother. You said, Link, stop. All right. Yeah.
Love that.
So, yeah, we start off like right away, right? We get down to the brass tacks right away because it's the Gamma accident straight off the bat, more or less. he escapes the facility. He's got the military on his ass. We got one of our first great splash pages.
Yo, that's issue 2. Yeah,
dude, I love that scene so much.
Yes. Bro, I don't know. Maybe it's just a testament to how great of a fucking master of an artist Sale was. But it's like the colors. It's like maybe his artwork allows for whatever colors is on his books to pop. But it's like the colors always seem to work. Like there's a good contrast of colors. I always appreciate with Tim Sale artwork, man.
Very well said. I think that like I've never ever seen one of his books and thought, man, the cover's off or it's just not working for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I love this. Like she opens the door, faints. He's kind of holding her limp body, and then they get all these like, laser sights on his back. I just love like how gorgeous she looks right there, like asleep, and him like kind of brushing her hair. Like I just love the
look at those fingernails, bro. The details.
So good, right? It's so
he's
good.
He's
it's
the type of artist
that horrific all in one.
Yes. He makes you glad to like, man, this is what comics are about. Like, you're flipping through it. It's every page is like I said, for me, every page is worthy of being hung up and being viewed or displayed in an art museum. I just love him, bro. He's the type, and if I see him or his work, I always grab it. Like the Batman Rebirth run that came out, well, I was gonna say not too long ago, but that was 2016. Yeah, shit. But I only got the variant covers. Tim Sale was doing the variants at the time, and I made sure to only get the variants. There's a few I'm missing because my shop sucked at the time.
That's
they missed
sick,
them out.
though. I didn't even know that. Are you talking about the Tom King run?
Yes.
Damn,
he did like a variants for
a string of variants for that. Dude, that's sick.
That's
yeah. You got to put that. That's got to be a Throw Your Sets Up Saturday, brother. I got to see that because that's a sick run to have. Yeah, shout out to you. Like, but that's the thing, man. I feel like even if it's a variant, like he doesn't really come weak with it. Like, you don't see very many. It's like, and especially like, I know he died too young at 66, but I just felt like he was getting stronger, really not losing a step.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, here we go. Bruce Banner wakes up, not the Hulk anymore. Trail of destruction in his wake, wondering what happened. And we got the scene with Betty, like you said, on the mountaintop there. Just amazing. Here's the scene with the rabbit. I wish I should have put that first slide in there. But yeah, he realizes the rabbit's dead. And he's like, I'm not a monster. And he smashes it. This was my favorite issue, though. The fight with Iron Man issue was my favorite of the bunch. I don't know about you. We got the old school, like first prototype type Iron Man. I love how issue 3 ended with this great profile of him with the hand blaster out, and then issue 4 starts up with Reflection Robot. He's just like Tim Sale said he called him. And just a great fight. It goes to Iron Man's way for about 30 seconds. He picks up Hulk and thinks he's going to carry him up in outer space.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hulk busts out or whatever and lands in the water. Then Iron Man's flying over the water. Hulk reaches up, grabs onto him. They both crash, and then Hulk just starts, beating him. Another great splash page. Finally, Betty runs over, tries to explain to him there's a man inside that suit. He accidentally knocks her out, and that stops the whole thing. Betty's hurt. He's got to tend to Betty's. And then we get another great opening shot. I love that reflection, the first aid. Them trying to get bandages and care for Betty. This was like such a poetically gorgeous issue, man. This had just heavy King Kong vibes to me. Him patching her up. Like you said, that great shot right there, them kind of like curled up in the nook of that cliff.
I'll give you the Iron Man issue, but this is my second favorite issue.
I'm not mad at that. Because this one is like the most poetic, and I think like the deep and tragic nature of Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was gorgeous. And then finally, of course, the last issue is the showdown with the military. General Ross you know, you put hands, you hurt my daughter. It's going down. You know, Hulk does Hulk things. He's got, you know, about to rip Ross's head off, and then he's kind of stopped. And then the issue ends with him going green, and that's you know, moving forward in history. But yeah, just the best color book to me. Not a dull page. So many brilliant moments from Sale. And I think you could tell that he was definitely inspired by this one. Hell yeah. All right, let's do. I'm gonna save the weird words for last. We'll do Daredevil Yellow next. Now these covers were different than the other ones, and I kind of like the. I don't know how to describe these. They're kind of like they're reminding me like a 70s horror movie type of deal. I don't know.
Very, I was gonna say muddy, but even though
but I like the font. I like the serious. Yeah, and all of them have that kind of layout, as we'll get to. But yeah, it starts off. We got the Daredevil in the red, origin story with his old man. This one's more about the love triangle between Karen, Foggy, and Matt. But dude, that freaking yellow and red costume does not disappoint throughout. And I love the way he does Daredevil's action. You know, moving like several times throughout the panel and the flips and stuff like that. Like he does that. But there's a bunch of great up close-ups, like that one on the left.
Yo, this is random, but it's like I love the progression. He went from like he was mostly doing Batman for DC, but when he did this book, and you know, Daredevil is in ways Marvel's Batman, you know, in some ways. But so you can see it there. Like he's like a Batman, but he's more agile than Batman. He's kind of on Spider-Man's level. And then what's the next color book he does after this? Spider-Man. So there's like a natural progression in the flow of characters that get in the way. Hulk was a random choice, but you know that was the best. It was, you know, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, fight with the Electro. Bowling strikes at the bowling strike at the bowling alley, getting hugged on by Karen. Then Foggy tells him he's going to propose. You know, so you know, there gets to a situation where like Daredevil has to save Karen. I think not once but twice, and she starts to figure out who he really is. Of course, I love this scene where she accidentally slips or whatever, and like Matt catches her, and like it looks like he's like dipping her or like swooning her, and Foggy's like walking up, dude, and he's got flowers, and that motherfucker just turns around, walks right back out, and throws the flowers in the trash on the way out. Like, and you got the shadow of them like still upstairs. Like, I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, Karen
that's Page great cover.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And Karen Page looks gorgeous, as do all his women. But yeah, another great Daredevil action scene. The Owl is the main bad guy in this one. I don't think we don't get too much of we get like Electro, and I don't think, but we don't really get we don't get Kingpin and everybody else. Yeah. But yeah, hell yeah. And then let's get through Cap White. This one tells Bucky gets kidnapped or taken prisoner and basically, you know, held by Red Skull and the rest of, you know, his little section of the Reich or whatever. I don't know. This one, it's like they tell the old Cap story, but in a different way, and it just doesn't really. I don't really get what they were trying to do here. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's a better told story or a better story than the original. What happened to Bucky and Cap, and how they're all, you know, the early partnership and how it ended. You know, this was weird, but all the same, you still have great moments. Cool Namor. We get some great splash pages, great action. You know, Sale doesn't deny us that. But the story for me for this one was just it wasn't as good. I thought it didn't really gain much ground. It didn't really do anything new or innovative with the character.
I hate to. I don't. It's not. I'm not disrespecting, but I do think there's a clear distinction in Loeb's work before his son passed from in 2005 from cancer, which the previous color books were before his passing, and this one came after. Even the issue 0 came 4 years after his passing. So there was a distinct decline in his the quality of his writing. He was never and that's not I don't want to disrespect the man, but I never thought he was the strongest writer. But I do enjoy The Long Halloween. But I did notice after 2005, pre 2005, before 2005, and after 2005, there is a difference, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm
Sale
wondering
mentioned
if
something. Sale mentioned something to that effect too. That it like.
do.
He didn't think like because of that it was the best time to do some of this, and like he felt like he was kind of forcing some of it. But yeah, Skull looks okay there. There's a couple of good shots. I love that evil face. But yeah, that's a great one. On the board with Bucky. Yeah. Again, put that man in the air, dude. Give him an air battle, dude. Like all of these have air. Pretty much all of these books have air battles. Like that's like he knows what to give him. But yeah. Anyway, like it ends with Skull being defeated, and then Cap at the Bucky Memorial, and he smashes the Cap Memorial and leaves the Bucky Memorial. The whole thing was just like okay. Because we never see Bucky die here, do we? That was the thing I was confused about. It was like, we don't see him die as a kid, but then I don't know. They told us that one part, and like, I don't know. I felt like if you're going to lead up to that part, if that's going to be the end of the story, then it should be. I don't know. It just felt like anticlimactic at the ending. You know what I mean? Because here we are at the statues, and he's supposed to feel like some type of way about his dead partner, but we didn't see him die. We didn't feel the full emotional impact of that. They just stopped Red Skull after he got kidnapped. I thought it was kind of like it kind of muted the emotions for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just thinking about how 2008 was not a good year for Loeb, bro. There's this event. I don't know if you're aware of all this. Not to get completely sidetracked, but called Ultimatum.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Completely alternate universe.
I'm aware.
But yeah,
was that him?
Man. Yeah. Yes,
right
Jeph Loeb and
wow.
Yeah. So 08 was not a kind year.
What do you think is like? I was trying to. I should have put together a more comprehensive list. Do any of his non-Tim Sale works stick out to you? Like more like on the level that any of these Tim Sale books do? Like nothing that he's done like with other artists really.
That would not. Like I was gonna say maybe not in a good way.
Oh, yikes!
He did this book called like Onslaught Returns with oh, here it is. I don't know why I just had this on here, but none other. It was Jeph Loeb and Rob Liefeld returning to
sorry, bro.
Yeah, this was the only reason I remember getting this is because no, you're fine. This came out shortly after House of M. And I remember opening up the page and I was like, oh shit, it's continuing House of M. I was like 16, 17, just turned 17. So I was still not hip to these shenanigans, but yeah. There it is.
Show one more time.
House of M page.
Okay.
But no, it's not very good. Not bad, but no, noteworthy of just like on sales level, I do think that his relationship with Tim Sale definitely helped him throughout his comic career. I didn't know that.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I didn't know that. I just found out from you today that Sale is the one who got Loeb the Batman writing job. I didn't know that. That makes sense now, but it fits. Tracks.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that he was like jealous. He said, He said Loeb had a good Vertigo story with Chris Bacalo. The Witching Hour.
Oh, I've heard.
I'm sorry. Is it Bacalo or Bacalo? Bacalo, isn't it?
Bacalo.
I feel like Bacalo sounds better.
Bacalo. I think it is Bacalo. Could be Bacalo.
Sal seconds that. Nice little series. All right, I'll have to check that one out. The one I always hear mentioned is that Superman, Batman, Public Enemies one he did with Ed McGuinness.
Oh, that, you know what? I actually really like a good his suit because I think he started off with Michael Turner first. Was the Kara Supergirl series that kicked it off? I think that was one of the earlier runs, but
yeah,
I did enjoy his Superman Batman series because he had like Carlos Paccio was on there, Ed McGuinness, Mike Turner. Shit, who else do you have? It might have been just those guys, but that's a solid, it was a solid lineup.
Yeah, it was. I've heard good things about that, or at least like the early part of that run. I heard. Yes. Did he do X-Men versus Avengers?
I'd say the first one. He did. There was this Cable book him and Ed McGuinness did, Avengers Sanction or something. There's a bunch. There's a AVX miniseries that was like a anthology book that just had different writers and artists on it, writing Matt Fraction to write a battle between Angel and Hawkeye. I don't know if that was an actual battle. I can't remember, but just for example, and then it'd be a couple pages, and the next book or the next short story would be like Kieran Gillian with another artist, that type of setup. So he might have, in that case, though, I didn't know he wrote for AVX, but he might have been on one of those anthology books because I didn't read all of those. AVX had a lot of shit going on, bro.
Yeah, I did. I
kept up with most of it.
Yeah. All right, so I guess looking at it, he really doesn't. He doesn't have anything that quite measures up as well as his Sale.
Yeah, the Sale stuff.
Yeah. All right. Real quick before we get out of here and do Gus My Government, let's cover the Superman stuff real quick. I have a little clip
to Superman as I am to Batman. That I'm always very comfortable doing. First of all, it's not an origin story. We're not on Krypton or anything. And Clark is already grown. But yeah, he doesn't know everything about himself. I think when people think of the book, what I think they're mostly remembering is the Smallville stuff. And especially the first volume. Jeph had a little boy, and he just wrote the hell out of it. Jeph put a lot of his own relationship with his son in it. It was a brand new way of approaching it for me. Much more detailed, much more line-oriented instead of big areas of black. And I just had a great time doing it. It's very Rockwell, very Americana. And Metropolis was different, but there were some kind of big blue moments, stopping trains and things like that were especially fun to do. But I couldn't wait to get back to Smallville. I just love that stuff. And I think that comes through.
All right, so yeah, he's got two really famous Superman stories. So the one we'll cover first was one he was just talking about, Superman for All Seasons. This is a Jeph Loeb book. The other one he did with Darwin Cook. Darwin Cook actually wrote it. It's called Superman Confidential. Yeah, which I love. I have yet to read this one, but I know this is a big inspiration for James Gunn right now in his Superman Legacy movie. I've heard other people speak very highly of it. I know Smallville probably took a lot of reference just for the fact that this is a Rockwellian, Smallville setting. But yeah, I love how clean his line work is here. And again, love the colors. Fantastic. I love the Superman, dude.
Yeah, so very, very classic and iconic, bro.
Right? Yeah. Very. I love the Kurt, like how he loves Kurt Swan so much. But here, instead of like these sweeping, we get these sweeping countryside vistas, which are just as stunning as these air battles that we've been getting before. Just awesome. Man, what a talent. There's that famous image right there.
That's very, very fitting. That's
Yeah,
I like that send
absolutely.
off for a legend.
Yeah, and then Superman Confidential. I've read this one. This one is fantastic. Now, this one is actually, if you're trying to collect this one in singles, it's 1 through 5 and number 11. It confused the hell out of me the first time I was reading it and trying to track it down. Yeah, apparently it took them forever to get that last issue done, and it doesn't land. It doesn't stick the landing as hard as you wanted to, but yeah, 1 through 5 told the main story, and then issue 11 is kind of like the wrap up. But it's also, I'm sure, collected in trades and stuff out there. Yeah, great story about basically
that called sorry. Is that
go
what
ahead,
do they call it, like the Royal Flush Gang or?
Yeah, Royal Flush Gang.
Okay.
Yeah. Starts off with like, a great fight against them. Reminds me of that animated that DC animated movie. I love the Royal Flush Gang. That's a great.
Yeah.
I'm always happy to see them. Yeah, basically, Soups we got this guy Vincent Gallo, who's like, he's kind of like a Lex Luthor type. Sure, he's super powerful businessman. Has introduced technology that's changed the world or whatever. We find like it's this piece of kryptonite, this creature that's kind of got expelled from Krypton at the same time Clark did. But Clark is trying to do a Superman thing and make time for Lois. They're having dinner here on the top of Eiffel Tower, but it's a losing battle. And so like this Vincent Gallo dude is going to kind of try to swoop in and ask Lois out, take her on dates or whatever. This was one of my favorite scenes. He's saving all these people from an erupting volcano. And he gets caught up in the lava, right? And he's like, literally, like, he's talking about breathing in like fire, and like he didn't think he was gonna make it. Like, and he was like, really, it was a really harrowing experience. And I just love like that narration with him and like stuck inside the volcano for a minute, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna be all right and make it out of this one? Because he's like, my lungs are literally on fire. It's just, I thought it was so cool. Yeah, and then he shows up at mom and dad's house, and like he's just toast. But yeah, another great scene right there. She's just saying hi down at the bottom. I love that. Such a beautiful, beautiful scene.
I felt like that was like a very perfect matchup between Cook and Sale, just because I was gonna say their styles remind me of each other. They don't, because they're very distinct in their own, but they're both very retro.
They are
nostalgic.
That's very true. They're very true. They're very similar in their own way, but they're very different. That's very true. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Is that Gallo on the cover?
Yeah, that's our boy.
Okay.
Right. And so basically, it's the creature inside this rock is kind of like possessing that form or whatever. And so we don't we think initially that it's malevolent and it's trying to harm Clark, but it's really been sent there to basically just kind of be, how like when he goes up into the Fortress of Solitude and like the crystals kind of give him his whole background and whatever. This in that case, like this kind of creature is like his personal historian for Krypton and like what happened, why he was sent here or whatever type deal. And like it's just been trying to get closer to him. It hasn't, like it has been like it's been trying to get closer to him, but it hasn't been trying to hurt him like you think. But you can't really, you don't really know, like you think Gallo's intentions are nefarious up until the end. But yeah, then Lex shows up in the middle. He's got some thugs, so he tries to ambush Soups on this robbery, and these guys try to beat him, but he's able to hold on. Yeah, so issue 5, we kind of finally find out about this creature and what's going on. And then yeah, like I said, issue 11, it all kind of wraps up. And he puts on this suit and gives this creature its freedom, I guess, which essentially is pushing it in the sun. I really did. It is what it is. But yeah, just a brilliant story. I thought this was like a really cool little, you know, I don't know if they consider it canon or not, but you know, either way, Darwin Cook. I don't think it's his sharpest writing. I think New Frontiers is definitely like far and away better, but this one was cool, man. This one was dope. Hey, our boys here, Station Fable. What up, bro? Hope the show went well, man. Was checking you out while I could over there. Fable's on Omni X-Men tonight, discussing Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 1 and 2. Fable's such a good guest. He got 2 issues, one more than everybody else. So shout out to our boy. But yeah, man. Have you read either of these Superman books, brother?
For all seasons, I felt like I remember reading like a couple issues of Confidential, illegally. I'll admit it. It was online. I wasn't really into Superman at the time because this was because it's like people are like, how did you read it? But you don't have the issues. Because it was like test the. I kept hearing about it. I liked Tim Sale, but I was hearing like questionable things about the Cook's writing. I guess people were really trying to. I cut out my. Not everything is going to be a new frontier, and I think people were really holding it to that standard. So I was just kind of really. This was like 07, 05 is really. And I really started to like dive into DC deeply, or deeper than I was with compared to Marvel. And so I was still early on. So I was like, I only want to get the stuff that's bangers, you know. So I was trepidatious about this title and didn't check all of it out. But I think I owe it to both of those legends who have sadly passed away to read that. You know, they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
To finish
absolutely. It. Yeah, definitely recommend. You know, I haven't read it for all seasons, but like I said earlier, it's going to be a big part of the blueprint for the Superman Legacy movie that James Gunn's putting together. So, I highly recommend you guys get to those before Superman comes out next summer. All right, so that pretty much covers it, man. I just want to say, rest in power to a true legend. This guy was a master of style. Like I said 1,000 times before, I love comic books where you can turn the page and just really soak in the art and get to the words later. You know what I mean? Like when the art's so good, you just want to sit there and enjoy it before you start reading. Tim Sale always gives me that experience. I really don't know what was going on with his health. I know he died of kidney failure at age 66. I hope, I know it's too late now, but I hope he was taking care of himself. And I just hope it wasn't a situation where his demons got to him. But either or, regardless, we lost a great one, man. Yeah, I don't know anything you want to say and wrapping up before we get to Guess My Government, bro.
I mean, you said it wonderfully. He was just a master of this medium, and he's the type of artist that you're like, yo, this is why I read comic books. This is, like you said, when you're taking in the visuals subconsciously first, and then getting to the words, and it doesn't bother you or something like that. To speak on the writing style, like Jeph Loeb, I guess it was some video on YouTube, but so was saying like Jeph Loeb never gave him too much detail. Like it was very simple stuff, like Hulk's mad, So a lot of that world building and I guess iconic moments from the stories they worked on are due to Sale's storytelling ability as an artist. So I think that says a lot about him. He's just a master of this craft.
Oh yeah, and just the way, that like he doesn't have an extensive library or huge like runs on these characters, but just like with Superman and Batman, the way he's affected those cinematic universes, just with the Long Halloween and for all seasons, like and I feel like the way it'll continue to affect them, it's really impressive, and I think a testament to his influence and his talent. But hell yeah! All right, Guess My Government, bro. I think I got you tonight. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. So this one, well, I won't spoil it, but I thought this guy technically has 2 different names, so I thought this one might be a curveball. David Hyde. You got any guesses?
I know who it is.
God damn it, you son of a bitch. All right, let's give it to. Thank you for being quiet, at least for. Thank you. Thank you for letting my pride have like 3 seconds. Anybody out there in the chat? We got a David Hyde here. Superhero or supervillain alias. Guesses, please.
Can I say whether I think they're a good guy or bad guy?
Go ahead.
Bad guy.
All right.
Okay.
Link's narrowed it down. At least some of the way. We do have a bad guy. I'll double down on that. We got a bad guy from the DC universe tonight. So any guesses out there? No, it's not Fraser's brother, Eric. Jesus.
No, you might have me stumped, bro. I'm thinking of a different Hyde in the Marvel universe, so I renege and take that.
All right. Well, there we go. Well, yeah, this guy. All right. Since I don't see any guesses, I'm just gonna go ahead with it. I went ahead and watched Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom as background noise today, and he's David Kane, I think, in that movie. But yeah, Black Manta is David Hyde. Yeah, but I think he's called Jackson like David Hyde.
Damn it! I'm more familiar with Jackson Hyde than I am Black Manta, unfortunately. But I know that it was like his son. Damn it! Yep. Well done.
Of course, all right. I'm glad I got you, bro. I'm glad I got you. I thought all hope was lost, but yeah, of course. He's got two different. He didn't really have an origin story until '93, when they bothered to give him one. Yeah, just down on his luck, Baltimore kid on the shoreline who got kidnapped and turned into a pirate or something. And then it got redone again in 2003, where he was like he was an autistic kid and he was taken to Arkham and like the water was soothing. I don't know. Both the origin stories seem wild as hell, so and kind of all over the place. But yeah, I feel like that's a character that could really use like some up and coming writer could write like a little mini or something, and really, because I think he's a great villain. And he's badass in those movies when he wants to be. I like that actor who played him, and I like the helmet. I like the look and the beams from the eyes. Eye beams always work.
Yeah,
except unless it's Cyclops. Eye beams always work for me. All right. Unfortunately, I did not get a PCP schedule together this week. I didn't feel like I didn't have time / collect all the thumbnails. I know Nick's got his 2 videos dropping tomorrow. New comics of the week and the comic book cutoff, and then you got Nick at Night on Saturday night. I'm gonna be on Best Comics of February, Thursday night over at 7 p.m. Eastern on Robbie at Pop Culture Philosophers channel. And then of course 9 p.m. on Friday night. Come join us for Blaine Fable and his amazing friends. We got Gary B, the casual comics guy, as our guest. Can't wait for that. Last show was great. Yeah, I think that's all I really want to. Oh, and I'm sorry, my man Verno tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna try to slide in there. I'm gonna try to slide in there for the Thanksgiving review. Y'all check Verno out, man. One of the best doing it with the horror reviews. Always making his show better. Always making his content tighter.
VHS. Oh, the Blood Splatter Chatter. My bad. I thought we were agreeing to change that as a group, but we haven't come to that yet. But yeah, Blood Splatter Chatter.
Oh yeah, the homie. So yeah, y'all have to make sure you check him out. And of course, Inja thank you guys. Thank you for coming through on Half a Melon and Manga. Inja, shout out what y'all got going on this week in the chat, so I can shout you out if you're still around. E's. I think E's got something cooking. We might get our first content from E here soon, so I can't wait for that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it just has Black Man as a boss. Completely agreed. But yeah, I don't know. Link, anything else you want to say to people before we get out of here tonight, man?
You're the best.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep on keeping on.
Thank you guys all for coming through and joining us. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no. I was trying to think of some damn movie quotes and I failed. So you.
I know, dude. All right. So this is our. Let's go ahead and break kayfabe. This is like the part of the show that we definitely need to like iron out, because I feel like every time we exit with something new, and like I was just like, man, Fable's got that great party on, dudes, and everybody's got a great clean little exit. We need to
something to send off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice send off. Whoa.
How do I give out wrenches, guys? Ooh, I can put somebody in timeout.
I'm the wrong person.
Ooh, put user in timeout. That's fun. Yeah, I would love to give you guys wrenches if you earn it, Eric.
Wrench.
Eric just out here asking for free wrenches. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out how to do that. Anyway, we're getting totally off topic here at the end of the show. But anyway, a big thanks for all you guys coming through. We love and support you. Y'all keep the positivity going. Keep that brotherhood and that family going. He's this motherfucker here. But yeah, we love y'all. Y'all make sure take the time, pump the brakes, be extra kind to somebody in line. Never know what people are going through out there. But yeah, we will be back next Tuesday at 9:00. Sometime middle of next month, we're going to be going back to our old home at Wednesday night. But we got some great guests lined up for a couple Tuesday nights. We got John's Comics with Kids. We got our boy Chris from Lost in Comics. We're going to get some more members of the PCP family back on here. We got to get Fable on here for a Transformers catch up. So big things planned here in the next month or so. But appreciate y'all coming through. We will see y'all next. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, my bad. I was just chiming in. I'm ad-libbing over here. Just ignore me. I'm just like, hey.
Skirt. Yeah, anyway, love y'all. See y'all next Tuesday.